Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda Faychick777 and today I'm coming at you with a project I've made. Now this isn't for any particular design team or anything. I know what I want to do with it, but I can't let you in on that right now because it's confidential. It will be given away, but you know, I kind of have to see if this person likes this type of project that I've come up with, this type of theme, I guess I should say, you know, because it kind of came out like vintage romance, so I need to see if they like that type of, yeah, theme, or not theme, but you know what I'm saying, because some people like shabby chic, some people like steampunk, that kind of thing. So anyway, if this person likes that, it's going to be given to them, but long story short, I'm going to move my sign out of the way and give you a look at what I came up with, okay? Adjust my camera up. And this is what I came up with. I know, right? Super pretty. Don't worry, I'll get up close and personal as I usually do. I made like, I'm going to call it an altar configuration box because I did put two boxes together to make this. Now the boxes I used, I've used these before. I'm down to one left. But last year, I was at our local Dollar Tree, and I'll show you what I found. It was these Zen Garden boxes. They're like rectangle wooden boxes, come with sand, as you can see, rocks, a plastic little rake. I kept the sand because you all know most of my projects I use acrylic paint mixed with sand for texture, so you know that was a bonus. And then of course the boxes. And this is already black, but I use black acrylic paint mixed with sand to give it texture around the box. What I did, like I said, I used two of them, and I put one on top of the other, used some wood glue, couple of nails, so this sucker is not coming apart, to create my configuration box. Okay, so before I adjust my camera up, let me take this off for a minute and show you what it's sitting on. Let me show you. As you can see, there's a clock here, and then obviously the clock mechanism kind of comes out the back, or the battery part of it. So it wasn't something that I could hang flush on the wall, so I wanted to make it obviously like a tabletop decoration. So I got this you know, picture holder at a local store, and what I did is acrylic paint mixed with sand, and I painted it black acrylic paint mixed with sand, and then I took white acrylic paint mixed with sand to give it, you know, kind of that powdery soft effect. Okay, and you guys know I do this like all the time, but I've gotten lots of new subscribers and I get them every day, so they may not know what I do. Anyway, so that's what I've done for to hold this project. Okay, so let me move that out of the way for a minute. And let me move my camera down and up because I'm going to bring this up close to the camera to get a better look for you guys. Back down again. Sorry, I have a little bit better light down here. Okay, so all this adjusting, get on with it already. Anyway, so here's the project. You know, and I never measured this. I want to see how big this is. It's about 10 inches that way, and then, you know, not including the handle, it's about 7.5 inches this way. So, you know, not real big. And the papers I used was some paper from Prima Stationer's Desk, because y'all know I love that. And I also used some paper by Marion Smith, the Motley collection. Okay, so I'll just kind of give you a nice slow peek at this front and back, and then we'll go into more detail. Okay. That there, she can see it. I know, it's so pretty. Just love it. I love it, I tell ya. Okay, and then we flip it over onto the back. Now onto the back is where you can kind of see, because you can't really see the other, this is the Marion Smith Motley collection. Hard to see on the front because I did double layer on the paper. But all my papers I sewed around every edge, even all the little strips that go along the sides. I distressed the edges with the Prima Distress tool. Okay, and there you can see where my clock mechanism comes out. That's why it can't go flush against the wall. On top I used a cabinet handle. Okay, added the texture paint to it to kind of make it a little bit shabby. although I'm calling it Vintage Romance. Okay, and you can see all the sides. The sides are just covered in the paper of the stationer's desk, so there's nothing fancy about that. And I covered, you know, top, bottom, inside, outside. I just kind of left the edges showing, and then, you know, some of the seams and stuff. Okay, so let's go over to this left side. On this left side, all my flowers are Wild Orchid Crafts, and I think I've got some Petaloo flowers in there. Okay, and let's see, let's go on the back. The stenciling I did, I've got an old stencil, a lot of you know, it's an old Prima stencil with micro dots on it, and I used that, and that's what gives me all my little micro dots. And then one of, I think they came out with a lot, but Prima came out with, I think it's 4 new 12 by 12 stencils that has words on them, and so I used one of those to get Love Completely. Okay, so that's all my texture. I use modeling paste with the stencils. Okay, so on this left side, again, Wild Orchid Craft flowers. I use this cute Prima metal piece. Love it. Ingvild Bohm put it out. It's outlets and stuff. I love it. It's a little bit eclectic, and I put it on there. Most of the things I used on here, I wanted it to kind of resemble time. So that's why, you know, and clocks, because, you know, a lot of times we plug clocks in, have to have a little electricity, or maybe a little, you know, romance is a lot of electricity, if you get what I'm saying. Love electrified. So that's why this is here. And then I've got a Prima, or maybe this is a Tim Holtz. I think this might be a little Tim Holtz gear here, you know, like the gears in a clock. And then I've got a little Prima number there, obviously symbolizing numbers on the Prima clock. Over here, this are Prima Roman numerals and the Prima regular numbers here for the numbers on the clock. So there's that. Okay, and then we'll come over to this right side over here. In the corner here, I've got one of those metal corner pieces from Momenta that line at Michael's. And then right in here, I've got a Prima wooden piece here. I love these because, you know, the hourglass symbolizes time. Right tucked in here in the flowers is a little Tim Holtz pen nib here. Down here's a little Petaloo flower. Right here, I've got another Tim Holtz like water faucet knob. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with time or romance. Okay, let's say it does have something to do with romance. I just thought of it. I'm going to make this knob fit, and why it's in here, because, you know, you have to turn on the romance. I know, it's pretty, I know it. I was reaching for that one. Anyway, I've got a cute little jar here with a cork in it. I got this just at the local store here. But inside I've got some roses, and I've got a little bow around it. Kind of hard to see, a little sheer bow. And I've also got some sand in here, like the sands of time. I know. Let's just go. I'm going to come back over to this side, the left side on the bottom. I've got a bunch of Wild Orchid Craft Petaloo flowers in here again. I've got this metal heart here. It's out of the Metal Heart Gear collection by Ingvild Bohm Prima. Down below that, I've got my X and O. As you all know, I like to put a little XO on my projects, kind of my signature thing. I've got a little Prima light bulb here that says believe in it, like believe in romance. Another little Prima metal gear here, the little hearts on it again. Got a little Prima Roman numeral here. And then I've got a little Tim Holtz metal photo piece there. Okay. So hooked from this heart, I've got some chain that goes throughout my project because I kind of wanted some moving parts. You know, there's moving parts on a clock. That chain is hooked up to this. I'm going to just show you my chain first, and then I'll come back. So I've got the chain from here hooked up to here. Again, swoops over to here, comes right down to here, my little wooden fence there, comes down around over to the key, and then finishes off with the hanging charm. Okay, so back over to here, love, you know, love, wings of love, that kind of thing. I've got some Prima resin wings here. And on top of all my pieces, you can see all the texture again, just like on the box and everything on my flowers. You can see all the texture on my wings. That's the acrylic paint mixed with sand. On top of my wings, I have the Tim Holtz metal adornment frame. I just love these frames. This piece I have had in my stash for years, and it was from a company called Little Davis, and I think that company's been closed for several years now, but it used to be, you know, one of the popular companies, and some pieces I picked up from a scrapbook convention, you know, like I said, a lot of years ago. Anyway, so that's what that comes from. As you come down over to this right side, remember, I mentioned the fence. I've got a little wooden fence that I picked up from Joann's, and I pop dotted that fence. I'm turning this, so you can see I've kind of pop dotted it up in the box there to give it some more dimension. Okay, up on top of that fence, I've got a little Prima butterfly here. And then all my flowers, of course, Wild Orchid Craft flowers. I've got a little Prima resin angel here. I've got a Tim Holtz metal clock. On top of that clock, I got a Prima metal clock hand. Coming over to the side, this is a Prima key. Old key they came out with, I think, last year. Hanging from the key besides the chain is this cute little metal flower charm. Got it Joann's, I believe. Right here, this is a Prima resin piece, a resin topiary here. And then on top of that, this is a metal piece from Ingvild Bohm, Prima Collection. She had some of her just recent new releases. There was a package of these metal pieces, and it had like, oh gosh, what do I want to say? Like a steering wheel from a car and stuff like that in it. So this is one of those, kind of look like a gear to me, so I put it in there. And this is a Prima resin clock piece. And then right here, this is a tag from Prima Collection. I believe this one is actually from Time Travelers, this tag, but I loved it because it said Together Forever. And then down below this is a Woodward that I got from Michael, says Love. And actually what I did is I took two of them, I'll turn it as you can see, and I glued them together to make it really thick and give it a lot of dimension. Okay, so that is the gist of my project. Very pretty. I just love it. I love the vintage romance of it. And it's got to sit all just nice and snugly on the stand. The stand, actually, you can see the O here. The stand actually has to come through the center of the O for it to fit properly. It's just like a well-oiled machine. Get it? Machinery, clock, whatever. I'm just grasping. Now I'm being silly. But anyway, this is, like I said, my vintage romance altered configuration box where I added a little clock. I love it. I think it's pretty. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, everybody, for continually commenting on my videos and things like that. I can't always get to everybody and, reply to each and every one, but whenever there's a question, I make sure I always get back to that. If there's any type of questions or help on anything that you need, I always make sure I answer those. But believe me, I appreciate each and every one of your comments because that's what keeps me going. That's what makes me create because I love sharing this stuff with you. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. Everybody, I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.